Okay, hello, my name's John Lee. I'm head of English at Bootham School, and I'd like just to take maybe 10 minutes or so just to take you through our offering from the English department. Firstly, a thank you for expressing an interest in the English department at Bootham and more widely, I suppose, Bootham School itself. So I think in the time that we've got, these would be the key things probably to take you through. Firstly, why study A-level English, full stop. Secondly, why specifically at Bootham? What can we offer you at Bootham School that's particular to us? And then if we get down into the details a little bit, what does the layout of the course look like? What texts are we studying? How is the course assessed? Those sort of nitty-gritty aspects, I suppose. What makes a successful student in English would be something we're really quite interested in, and then to include some opinions of the current students as well, as a way of just giving you a bit more information that's not coming straight from me as such. Okay, well, I mean, there's lots and lots of reasons to study English literature at A-level, and this list is certainly not exhaustive, but we've had a sort of talk in the department about some of the areas that we think are really, really key, and some of the great things that English literature would bring you, both academically, but also for you as a person. And the first one is that we think by taking English literature for an A-level, it will engender a sense of you reading for pleasure for life, and that great gift. If people do carry on reading, beyond A-level and all that it brings you in your life, and we think the A-level is a great bridge for students doing that. So it just doesn't stop at GCSE. In relation to that, and it's kind of an addition in some respects that this is point 2 here, that I put also that by reading the texts, that you personally could respond to them and change in relation to those texts as well. So you grow, and obviously if you look at point 1 as well, we think that's something that can continue on, beyond A-level as well. So a great gift that it can offer you personally. If we're looking more pragmatically, some students will go on to do English A-level. Of course they will, into a degree. Others won't. Others will want to go to university, and universities do love English literature students because there's the wide breadth of skills that English brings alongside the more personal that we've already talked about. So skills of communication, the ability to collaborate, to work together, critical thinking skills, independence, and that ability to adapt as well, all highly sought of from universities. And indeed, it's the same picture when you go to employers. They're asking for very sort of similar skills in the marketplace. In addition to that, if we move briefly to the course as well, we've got a wonderful. We'll talk more in detail about it shortly, but a wonderful, rich range of novels, of poets and poems and plays that importantly can't just be categorized into a particular category. They move across into different disciplines. So when you study in English, there'll also be aspects of history to bring in as well, context if you like, philosophy, sociology, and much more. So it's yes, it is particular to the discipline of English literature, but it also crosses over as well and makes much more links out at the same time. And I thought for a final point as well that everything that we do is shaped by language. So a study of that language is not just significant and exciting, but it's really, really important thing to do as well. More particular though to Bootham, we assume that every English department will be offering something similar, believing sort of similar principles as well. And this is what we think we can offer that's particular to Bootham. We've based this list of 9 on our understanding of working at other schools and experience of talking to other teachers at different schools. So we think these are particular to us, we think. So certainly smaller classes, more seminar style classes. Ideally we like to aim for 8 or 12. Occasionally it goes lower, occasionally it goes slightly higher, but always hovering around that particular number. And we think these seminar style classes, the echo, draw parallels quite nicely to the university experience. So the conversations, the discussions that are taking place there are really a good transition to university, and also a brilliant experience in terms of enriching your own understanding and developing some of those skills that we talked about previously. This one is particular, really particular, I think, here. The degree of one-to-one support that we're able to offer students, both inside the classroom, but in particular outside the classroom as well. So often we see students coming down for help with exam responses, choosing text for coursework, or some one-to-one intervention on coursework or support on the coursework there. And a lot of that time there is really, really valuable for students. And we can offer that, I think, more so in comparison to into other schools. We believe our curriculum at Key Stage 5 is a fantastic range, and we'll go to different places, we'll hear from different voices and different experiences that hopefully brought together can really offer an enriching curriculum at that. Alongside the more basics, alongside what we have to offer in relation to the exams, we've tried to look at moments where we can make the curriculum wider and offer more. So a foundation in literary theory. So we'll include feminism, we'll include Marxism, and we'll include Freud. Ways of looking at a text, putting on a lens and examining that text in a particular light and seeing how our reading becomes significantly richer because of it. And that, generally speaking, is a university skills and knowledge set that we try and introduce, and we try enriching students at this particular stage of their academic careers. A wide range of trips. I haven't listed on the trips there as such because the trips change according to the text that we're offering. But I mean, the last 2 years, just for examples, we've been to Ireland, to Dublin, in relation to Yeats. There's been a trip to America in relation to the Jazz Age, and then all the usual trips as well in relation to theatres, whether in London, Manchester, or closer to York. In terms of the assessment, again, this will probably be a little bit similar to other departments actually, but we've got the traditional analytical coursework responses, the standard stuff. We've got the traditional exams, but we've tried to include more creative responses to coursework pieces, generally speaking. So the traditional approach is really read a text, write an essay about it. We've tried to include more creative responses, so writing the character of, write a different ending to the story, if you like, just to try and appeal to a whole range of skill sets and interests. Number 8, it's incredibly sociable as an A-level, and would like to think that our classrooms are really built on talk, oracy, that ability to debate and communicate, and lots of our lessons will be based around debate. I put here quite a nice statement that I like. Other subjects are about what you know. We'd like to think that the English literature and how we present it here is yes, talking about what you know about the text, but also developing what you know about yourself at the same time and understanding yourself. So moving on. I appreciate this looks like quite detailed. Hopefully I'll explain it in a way that makes some sense. Well, the course first and foremost is linear. That means that all exams are conducted at the end of 2 years. There is a coursework component as well. Study of Shakespeare is mandatory, we have to, and we will study 8 texts. So they're the things that we have to do. They're the stricture, if you like. And this is what it looks like in reality. We have 3 components: component 1, component 2, and component 3. And we can see there that component 1 and 2 are exam-based, and component 3 is assessed through coursework. If we just look at component 1 for a moment, component 1 then is a study of a Shakespeare text, and in particular, when students move into the exams, they will study a passage from Hamlet, and they will also have a debate essay-style question based around Hamlet. So two particular questions to that. The second part of that component, still exam, is a study of a piece of drama, and in our case, it's Ibsen's The Doll's House, and one poet that's pre the 1900s, 19th century, and that is either Chaucer or it is Christina Rossetti. Now, the particular approach of that exam is how do Ibsen and how does Rossetti or Chaucer explore a particular theme? So it's a comparative piece. So that particular component looks at close skills, close reading skills, I suppose. It also looks at traditional essay skills and then a comparative piece as well. Moving on, the component 2, again, exam related, again, it's 40%. And yes, it's comparative, but this is also a contextual study here, and it's based around America in between those two dates, 1880 to 1940, the Gilded Age to the Jazz Age, to the arrival of the Second World War. And those two particular texts, as a minimum, The Great Gatsby for the Jazz Age, and then it's on there somewhere, The Age of Innocence, Eden Wharton for the Gilded Age. So how do these two writers explore particular themes that are particular to America at the time? And like I said, they'll be assessed towards the end, right at the end of the course via exams. Component 3 is coursework, and it's two separate pieces of coursework, and I put the word counts on there just for reference. One piece is 1,000 words. The second piece is 2,000 words. There's 3 texts altogether. One must be poetry, one must be prose, and one must be drama. The first essay, which is 1,000 words, is based on Alan Bennett's The History Boys, an understanding of character or an understanding of theme, essentially. The second essay, which is 2,000 words, is a comparative piece, and the text that we've chosen this time around are Auden between those particular dates, 1914 and 1939, and Atonement from 2001. And it's just looking at that, the experience before the Second World War, so the 30s, generally speaking, and how the two writers have responded to the rise of fascism, the rise of war, the class divisions within society. So how have they responded to aspects of their society at the time? And that'll be 20%. And in that particular component, we really do find that students gain independence, they gain their essay writing skills, and they gain a lot of confidence. So when they do come round to the exams, component 1, component 2, they do feel like they've got the confidence and the skills to be able to write successfully. Okay, we put here what makes a successful English literature student. I think the first thing to note is a little caveat that we don't expect students to come to as successful, full, well-rounded English literature students. This is what we hope you would develop into, some of the skills, some of the interests that you would have over the course of 2 years. We would like you, we really would like you to enjoy the process of reading, thinking and writing about text, primarily reading. A lot of the time that we spend outside of class, in class, we'll be reading and responding, thinking about those texts. So, either as a prerequisite or something that you would be more than willing to engage in the process of reading and thinking about. In addition to that, if you like discussion, if you like to share ideas, or it's a skill that you'd like to develop, then this course could be for you, and it might be that you're successful in the course as well. To work independently and with other people. I think a lot of courses would probably point to question 4, but that skill of reflection, we'd like you to be reflective, not just in relation to your essay, but reflective in terms of the points that you make, taking on board what other people, either the teacher or other people in the class, have said as well. We'd like to think about the bigger picture. We get very good at GCSE zooming into particular passages. We'd like you to think about the bigger picture, the big themes of the text, the characters within the text and how they link out to aspects of the time period, how they link to the writer, or how they link to aspects of Marxism, feminism, etc., as we talked about previously. 6, to have a go thinking on your feet, to respond with the gut sometimes, to have the more emotive responses, the heart-driven responses, as well as the head. This one we really would like, and it's not one that should put you off at this particular stage. But if you were to be able to develop a wider understanding of poetry, fiction, or other kinds of literature beyond the text itself, that can only help out your understanding of the core text, and also your wider reading, your reading for pleasure and reading beyond the course. And some students find it really beneficial if they're interested in writing. That helps them understand how texts are constructed and how texts work. We'd like you to be willing to have a go at opportunities beyond school, writing opportunities, reading opportunities, taking on opportunities to go and see plays, etc. That would be great. And again, this is not a skill that comes naturally from GCSE, but the ability to take notes, to consolidate your learning by rereading your notes afterwards, by rereading the text afterwards. That's something that we'd like to develop, so we're not expecting students to come with those particular skills, but nevertheless, successful students do tend to have the majority of those skills by the end. Thinking about some of the opinions of the current students, It would have been great if we could have had some students to speak to you right now, but nevertheless, unable to do that at the moment. So I just put at the top some combinations. This may give you a degree of confidence, it may shape your ideas slightly, but history, English and classics is quite a popular one. English, business and psychology, English, RS and geography, and on it goes, the picture emerges there. That's not to say English doesn't support and develop other subjects, but that seems to be the general pattern. It seems to be one of humanities supporting humanities out, but that doesn't mean it should reduce you, just to give you a picture of what other students have chosen. And here, finally, just to wrap things up, is what some of the other students have said, and I'll just breeze through these. Become more confident in discussions. I think the reason why people become more confident in discussions is they go from GCSE classes where it's 20, 25 perhaps, and you go into smaller groups, and that confidence then develops. Somebody here likes the trips. They've been to London, they've been to see the text on stage and get to know writers better. Yeah, as I've talked about previously, this idea that English contributes to other subjects as well. So the student here has thought that writing has helped them in other subjects, particularly the essay-based subjects, I suppose. A couple of things of note here, and I won't gloss over these. One student has said, it seems to be a bit of a warning to me here, there's more reading than at GCSE, and the texts are a lot harder. Of course they are. You go from GCSE, you go from A level, and yeah, a lot of reading. Again, a bit of advice here from a student: read your text in advance and then reread them before the exam. You're going to get an exam based upon a text. Read them as much as possible. And another little tip here, mentioned previously, the wider reading does really help. It's hard if you don't like reading and discussion. I think I'd say there that some students really do find their voice, and then they do, when they find text, when they do spend time in smaller groups discussing, that they do like reading and they do like discussion at the end of it. So I wouldn't rule yourself out if reading and discussion doesn't seem to be your thing at the moment. You've got 2 years. 2 years is a long time to grow. I enjoyed the set text more than I thought I would, particularly the poetry. So people come with lots of preconceptions. I always like drama, but I don't like the poetry. Come with an open mind, and you may be surprised. The feel of the lessons is different from GCSE. I found my voice at A level. Seems to echo the earlier point. Having an interesting range of texts has made me enjoy reading more than I've ever thought before. So if a pattern emerges there is to come with an open mind, and some of those preconceptions that you may have about certain texts or certain aspects of reading, allow the course to challenge those, and hopefully you'd have a successful 2 years or so. So hopefully in the time that I've had, we've taken you through some of the most basics in a skeleton-like form, and allows you to make a more considered choice when deciding about schools and deciding about the A-level choices as well. Thank you very much.